They soar right through the roof.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 science fiction action film, Fight Another Day. The film is co-written and directed by James Mark, and it stars Eric Johnson, Martin Kove, Jim Belushi. We have Christina Occhia. We have fighters such as Chuck Liddell, Ken Shamrock, and Michael Bisping appearing too. Right, this film focuses on Eric Johnson's character, Ryan Taylor. Now, in the 80s, he is a famous police detective. He has cameras following him around everywhere, and he kicks down doors and arrests people. You know, he's very heroic. This one particular fateful show, it films him getting killed. And then he wakes up in 2049. Time traveling has been invented. Huge corporations now run the whole world, really, and one of the most powerful people in that world is Martin Kove's Fisher. He has devised a way to keep the population calm and in control, so crime has dropped, but to feed the human nature in regards to death and dying and crime and fighting, he has created a show called Fight Another Day, where he travels back in time, because he controls that technology, or his staff do, and in order to avoid a paradox event, steal people at the moment of their death, fighters and warriors from their different time periods, bring them forward to 2049, essentially clone them and put them in arenas to fight for everyone's entertainment on TV. This doesn't sit well with Detective Ryan Taylor. He doesn't like being used for the people's entertainment, and he essentially fights back against the system. Right. What are my thoughts on Fight Another Day? Well, this is another of those, fighting tournament movies. These things have been popular since, the dawn of time, really, in regards to on-screen entertainment. I like them. I like tournament films. I like, the whole setup of them, generally speaking. They're highly predictable, but if done properly, they can be very entertaining. Now, this one has a unique premise, I think it's fair to say. Not as unique as it might want you to think, because this, for me, has elements of Running Man kind of crossed with the Christian Bale film Equilibrium. Because in that film, Equilibrium, the population is like medicated to suppress all their aggressive feelings and creative thoughts and feelings and all that kind of stuff. And that's very similar to what's happening to the population in this film. And Running Man, because people are put, to fight for people's entertainment, and it's life or death scenarios. But what I liked about this is the original concept of kind of going back in time and stealing warriors at the time of their death and bringing them forward to fight. So you've got cowboys, you've got samurais, you've got knights, you've got Vikings, you've got soldiers from wars, and you've got obviously this Ryan Taylor, who's a detective from the 1980s. And when they go into battle, they are allowed to enter the battle in their own gear from their time period and their own weapons. So if you go into the arena and you're facing a knight and you are a soldier, for example, in the Second World War or whatever, you could take in your weaponry from that era. So it's like who could kind of come out on top in those scenarios, and it's an interesting idea. And that probably is the best part of the film, the arena battles, because like I say, you've got a lot of recognisable faces here. Chuck Liddell, Ken Shamrock, Michael Bisping, and there's probably others as well that are very, very talented fighters, because you could tell that everybody in that arena was kind of either a stuntman or a fighter or something like that for the most part, apart from obviously Eric Johnson, who played this detective, Ryan Taylor. It's one of those films that it's not hard to kind of get behind the heroic character, if you like. The contests, I think, are well done. They're decently choreographed and at times quite brutal. So that really worked. I mean, my worry is, with a cast like this, I mean, you've got obviously a lot of recognisable faces here, especially Martin Kove and Jim Belushi. And my thought was, oh, are they going to be in this film for like 5 minutes and it's just a face to put on the poster and the rest of it's going to be cheap garbage? And actually, no, that's not the case. Martin Cove is central to this story. He plays the villainous Fisher, who runs this corporation, this time-traveling technology. And we know from, obviously, Cobra Kai that he can play a fantastic villain. And he's on form here. You know, he plays the villain absolutely well. He's not over the top and pantomime. He is actually quite reserved at times, but he is a very, very good villain here, and it works. As I've said, it's all very, very predictable stuff, so don't be going into this expecting anything original, particularly, or different in regards to a tournament film. The differences here, obviously, is the time traveling element and different fighters from different eras going against each other. That's the original twist to this film. Everything else, forget about it. It's not happening. Jim Belushi is in this film. He's in it a decent amount. What he basically is every time Ryan Taylor, this detective guy from the 80s, is getting geared up before a fight, Jim Belushi is the guy in charge of that gear and advising him and stuff. So he's in it a decent amount every time he's going into the arena, basically. But he's not what you would call a main character here, Jim Belushi. When it comes to the conclusion of the film, it's kind of a bit messy, a bit predictable, and you know there's a character in particular I really wanted to get involved in that. I thought it was the perfect opportunity, and they didn't, and I thought that was a bit of a shame. But, you know, I mean, these time-traveling films, you know, they've been done so often, you know, they can kind of get a bit tiresome and a bit boring and a bit dull, and it's all been done before. This one explains itself away quite well. You know, there's a nice graphic early on in the film where it kind of discusses their thoughts about this time travel technology and why they kind of grab people at the moment of their death and clone them essentially and then send the body, you know, back, sort of thing. So it's an interesting idea, and it's you know, it's how they kind of deal with the paradox potentially happening, because they explain you can't just go back in time and kill Hitler because, you know, paradoxes will happen, which is the question that most people tend to ask themselves. You know, if you had the ability to go in the past, why would you not do this, that, and the other? Well, they're trying to explain that in this film. As you know, it's not exactly told with any scientific knowledge or, you know, intelligence, but it explains it nonetheless. So while I think this had the potential to be absolutely terrible, the ingredients were all there for it to be absolutely terrible. I actually found this really much more entertaining than it had any right to be, and much of that, like I say, is down to the arena battles. There's nothing what I would describe as horrific acting or anything like that. It's not top notch or anything, but you're putting people in this film, you know, your Michael Bispings, etc., to kind of give you a physical performance, and they kind of do that. I mean, it was a bit odd because Michael Bisping obviously is a talented UFC fighter, and they put him in a suit of armour, which seemed a bit odd to me, why they would do that, but they did it. It actually worked quite well. It was a good fight, that sequence. So, yeah, I don't think this is a terrible film or anything. I won't watch it again. It's not one that I can heartily recommend or anything, but it's certainly not the worst film that I will watch this year either. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button. It's very, very helpful. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Let's try and get, you know, 2025 going for this channel and get, you know, lots of views, lots of likes, lots of subscribers, and let's see how far we can take the popularity of this channel. So thanks for joining me, everybody.